Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. Life has a way of showing us who people really are, and sometimes it comes through heartbreak. When someone breaks your heart, it isn't just about pain, it's about truth being revealed. Because when he broke your heart, what he didn't realize was that he also cracked his own ego wide open. He thought he was winning, but in reality, he was losing the one thing he couldn't replace: your loyalty, your love, your authenticity. See, heartbreak is not just about you crying at night or wondering what went wrong. It's about the lesson that comes afterward. It's about realizing that if somebody walks away from you, they were never strong enough to stand beside you in the first place. And when a man loses a good heart, that's not your loss, that's his wake up call. It's life's way of humbling him, of showing him that ego cannot keep a person warm at night. Ego cannot nurture a soul. Ego cannot build a future. Now let's be clear. When you love somebody, you give them access to the deepest parts of you. And when they throw that away, they're not just walking out of a relationship. They're walking away from their own growth. Because the same heart they hurt is the same heart that prayed for them, believed in them, lifted them up. And when you break that, you break the very thing that was keeping you grounded. That's when life steps in and says, son, it's time to learn humility. The beauty in heartbreak is that it exposes truth on both sides. On your side, it shows your strength, your resilience, your ability to rise even when you've been shattered. On his side, it shows weakness, pride, and the emptiness of living off ego. So while you may cry today, understand this. Tomorrow he'll realize what he lost, and that realization is heavier than your tears. To everybody listening, take this as a wake-up call. Don't ever let someone's rejection make you doubt your value. Don't ever let somebody's pride make you feel small, because when they break your heart, all they really did break their own chance at happiness. That's not your burden to carry. That's their lesson to live with. So pick your head up. Wipe your tears. Don't chase after anybody who cannot see your worth. Because when he broke your heart, he didn't just hurt you. He set himself up for the greatest wake-up call of his life. And believe me, nothing humbles a person more than realizing they destroyed something that ego can never replace. When someone breaks your heart, it may feel like the world has collapsed beneath your feet. The nights grow longer, the days feel heavier, and every memory seems to cut deeper than the last. But heartbreak is not just about the pain you feel. It is about the truth that is revealed in that very moment. It is almost like a spotlight that shines on reality, stripping away illusions, fantasies, and expectations. When someone hurts you, they unknowingly show you who they truly are. They expose their priorities, their values, and their intentions in a way that words never could. You see, people can say anything they want. They can promise the world, speak about love, and paint you pictures of forever. But the way they treat your heart, the way they handle your trust, that is the real evidence of their character. When your heart gets broken, it forces you to step back and re-evaluate everything. It makes you see patterns you ignored, warnings you overlooked, and behaviors you justified just because you loved too deeply. In a strange way, heartbreak is not just an ending, it is a revelation. The mask comes off, the charm disappears, and you get to see the raw truth of a person's soul. Sometimes it is ugly, sometimes it is selfish, sometimes it is careless, but regardless of what you see, it is clarity. And clarity, even when it hurts, is a gift. Many people don't realize that heartbreak is one of the most powerful teachers in life. While it stings, while it leaves scars, it also opens your eyes to what you deserve and what you should never tolerate again. When someone breaks your heart, it's not just about them leaving you behind. It's about them showing you that they were never really built to stay. They were never equipped with the strength, loyalty, or compassion required to carry love the way you did. And if someone cannot value a pure heart, that's not your weakness, it's their blindness. This truth also extends beyond relationships. It applies to friendships, family ties, and any bond built on trust. If someone disrespects you, betrays you, or discards you, that heartbreak reveals where they truly stand. It shows you that your presence in their life was not cherished the way it should have been. It proves that while you gave your best, they chose to throw it away. That truth might crush you at first, but in the long run, it frees you. Because knowing the truth, even when it hurts, is always better than living in a beautiful lie. Think about it. How many times have people looked back after heartbreak and said, I should have seen it coming. The red flags were there, but love made them blind. The actions were speaking louder than the words, but the heart wanted to believe otherwise. When heartbreak finally comes, it confirms what your soul already suspected, but didn't want to accept. That moment of pain becomes the moment of awakening. You realize that no matter how much you loved, no matter how much you gave, you cannot make someone appreciate what they don't recognize as valuable. Another important truth heartbreak reveals is about you. It shows you the depth of your own strength. At first, you may crumble. You may feel like you can't breathe. You may think the pain will never end. But slowly, piece by piece, you learn that your heart can still beat after being shattered. You realize you are capable of healing, of rebuilding, of standing taller than before. In that process, you uncover truths about yourself that you may never have discovered otherwise. Your resilience, your patience, your courage, and your ability to rise from ashes. So yes, heartbreak is cruel, but it is also a clarifier. It clears the fog of illusions. It unmasks the truth about others and uncovers the strength within yourself. When someone breaks your heart, it's not just a chapter closing. It's a revelation being handed to you, telling you really are and reminding you of who you are meant to become. That truth might hurt, but it is also what will set you free. Ego is one of the biggest enemies of real love. When a person allows pride and arrogance to control their decisions, they believe they are protecting themselves or proving their strength. But in reality, they are building walls that keep out the very things that could have given them happiness and fulfillment. When someone chooses ego over love, they may feel like they've won in the moment. They may think walking away, disrespecting, or neglecting someone makes them powerful or in control. But what they don't see immediately is that ego is like a thief. It robs them of the very blessings they were holding in their hands. Think about it. Love requires humility. It requires the ability to say, I'm sorry, when you're wrong, to compromise, when things get tough, to listen when you'd rather argue, and to give even when you feel like withholding. Ego hates all of those things. Ego whispers, don't apologize, don't bend, don't admit weakness, don't show vulnerability. And while it might feel like protection, it actually pushes people away. You can't build intimacy with someone who refuses to put their pride down. You can't build trust with someone who values their own ego more than the relationship. Eventually, when ego wins, love loses. When someone breaks your heart out of ego, it's often because they thought they were too important to lose you. They assumed your love would always be there, no matter how they treated you. That arrogance makes them careless with your emotions. But what they fail to realize is that ego cannot take the place of loyalty, kindness, or commitment. A relationship is not a battle to prove who is stronger. It is a journey to grow together. So, when someone throws away love for the sake of ego, they are not proving strength. They are proving weakness. The irony of ego is that it creates the illusion of victory, but delivers the reality of loss. A person might walk away from a relationship thinking, I showed her, or I won that argument. But when the dust settles, they start to feel the emptiness of what they lost. Because you can replace arguments, but you cannot replace genuine love. You can find new conversations, but you cannot duplicate the soul connection that once lifted you. That's why so many people, after breaking someone's heart out of pride, wake up one day with regret heavy on their shoulders. They realize the warmth they abandoned is now cold. The trust they shattered cannot be repaired, and the love they neglected has moved on. That is ego's price. It demands you to pay with loneliness and regret. This is why it is often said that ego is more expensive than humility. A simple, "I'm sorry," could save a relationship. A little vulnerability could build a bridge in a moment of distance. But ego won't allow it. Ego would rather see two hearts break than admit fault. And so people lose precious souls because they wanted to win a fight that didn't even matter. That is why the person who breaks your heart doesn't just hurt you. They damage themselves. They trade love for pride, and that is a bad bargain. At the same time, your heartbreak shows you the truth about how dangerous ego can be. It teaches you to never make the same mistake. It teaches you to value humility in relationships, to appreciate communication over silence, and to prefer peace over being right. It reminds you that the people who truly win in life are not the ones with the biggest egos, but the ones with the biggest hearts. The lesson is not only theirs to learn, it is also yours to witness. When you see what ego costs them, you realize how priceless humility really is. So when a person breaks your heart because of ego, don't think they've won. Don't believe for a second that their arrogance has given them an advantage. Because sooner or later, they will see the truth. They will realize that ego doesn't hug you at night. It doesn't believe in you. It doesn't build a family. It doesn't grow with you. Only love does that. Ego may seem powerful in the moment, but love is what lasts. And when someone trades love for ego, they lose something they can never truly get back the same way again. Heartbreak is one of those experiences that makes you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. It shakes your confidence. It tears at your spirit. And it leaves you wondering if you'll ever feel whole again. But the truth is, heartbreak is not the end of your strength. It is the beginning of it. When everything falls apart, you discover a version of yourself you didn't know existed. You find out that you are stronger, tougher, and more resilient than you ever imagined. The pain that once felt unbearable becomes the very fuel that pushes you to rise higher than before. In the beginning, the weight of heartbreak feels crushing. The tears don't stop. The silence feels loud. And the future looks like a blank wall. But somewhere along the way, you realize that even with your heart broken, you're still breathing. Even with the absence of the person you thought you needed, you're still standing. That's when resilience begins to show itself. Every day you survive without breaking apart completely is proof of your strength. Every morning, you get out of bed despite the heaviness on your chest is evidence that you are stronger than your heartbreak. What many people don't realize is that resilience doesn't mean you don't cry or that you don't feel pain. Resilience means you don't let the pain define you forever. It means you learn how to take the lessons from your suffering and use them to build a stronger foundation for your future. Heartbreak teaches you what real self-respect looks like. It forces you to recognize that your worth is not tied to who stayed or who left. It shows you that you are valuable regardless of how someone else chose to treat you. That is a powerful realization because once you truly understand your worth, you no longer beg for love, you attract it. The strength found in resilience is not just emotional, it is spiritual as well. When your heart is broken, you often turn to reflection, prayer, or deep conversations with yourself. You search for meaning in the pain, and in doing so, you connect with parts of your soul you may have neglected when everything seemed fine. That inner work builds a type of strength no one can take away. It gives you a sense of peace that doesn't depend on another person's presence. You begin to realize that love is beautiful, but your survival and happiness do not rely on someone else giving it to you. Another sign of resilience after heartbreak is your ability to rebuild. At first, it feels impossible to imagine laughing again, dreaming again, or even trusting again. But with time, your wounds start to close and your spirit begins to heal. You notice moments of joy returning, whether it's in the form of a hobby, spending time with loved ones, or simply feeling the sun on your face. Slowly, the cracks in your heart become filled with wisdom, patience, and strength. And what's incredible is that you don't just return to who you were before. You evolve into someone even stronger. The beauty of resilience is that it creates growth out of pain. You stop seeing heartbreak as just an ending and start recognizing it as a beginning. You learn what you will no longer tolerate. You learn the type of love you deserve. You learn that your happiness is in your hands, not in anyone else's. That is the essence of true strength. Taking control of your life even after someone else tried to break it apart. And while heartbreak might make you feel like you've lost something, in reality, it often gives you back something far more valuable yourself. It strips away the illusions and makes you stand face to face with who you are when no one else is there to lean on. That self-discovery is a treasure because once you know who you are and what you're capable of surviving, there is very little that can ever break you the same way again. So, while heartbreak may leave scars, those scars are proof of your resilience. They are marks of survival, reminders that you've walked through fire and came out stronger. You may have been broken, but you are not destroyed. And that strength, the ability to rise after pain, is what makes you unstoppable. When someone breaks your heart, it doesn't just remain a personal story between you and them. It becomes a lesson for everyone watching. Life has a way of using painful experiences as wake-up calls, not just for the one who caused the hurt, but for everyone who witnesses it. When a person loses someone genuine because of pride, carelessness, or ego, it shakes people around them and reminds them of the value of love, respect, and humility. The moment you see someone throw away a loyal heart, you realize how fragile relationships are and how important it is to protect them with care. For the one who causes the heartbreak, it becomes a lesson written in regret. At first, they may not see it. They may even celebrate their freedom or convince themselves they've made the right choice. But time has a way of stripping away illusions. Slowly, the absence begins to echo louder than the presence ever did. They wake up and realize that the person who prayed for them, supported them, and stood by them in silence is no longer there. And that's when the truth hits. Ego cannot hold you at night. Pride cannot laugh with you. Arrogance cannot build a life with you. That realization is one of the hardest wake-up calls a person can face. They discover, often too late, that losing a real heart is a loss that keeps reminding you of what you gave up. For you, the one who has been hurt, the wake-up call is different. It reminds you to never hand over your worth into the wrong hands again. It forces you to pause and think carefully about who you let into your life. Heartbreak becomes the teacher that tells you to value actions over words, consistency over charm, and respect over empty promises. You learn that a person who truly loves, you will never let ego destroy what you've built together. You realize that love isn't about proving power, but about choosing peace, kindness, and patience. That's your wake-up call. To never ignore the red flags and to never lower your standards. Just to keep someone who doesn't value you. For everyone else who sees or hears the story, the lesson is just as powerful. When people witness a good person being broken, it makes them reflect on their own relationships. It makes them think twice before speaking harshly, before letting pride get in the way, before taking someone's love for granted. Sometimes it's not your heartbreak that changes people. It's their realization that if they're not careful, they could lose someone they love in the same way. Pain doesn't just transform the person going through it. It ripples out and teaches those around them too. The truth is, heartbreak humbles everyone. It humbles the one who caused it because they eventually realize what they lost. It humbles the one who experienced it because they learn to rebuild and become wiser. And it humbles everyone who witnesses it, reminding them that love is fragile, and once lost, it's rarely the same again. That's why it's called a wake-up call. Because it jolts people out of their comfort zone, out of their arrogance, out of their illusions, and forces them to look at life more honestly. This is why you should never look at heartbreak only as an ending. It is also a warning, a signal, and a reminder to yourself and others. It warns you not to give away your loyalty too easily. It signals to the one who hurt you that pride destroys more than it protects. And it reminds everyone else that a genuine heart is rare and should never be taken for granted. Even though heartbreak feels unfair, it carries a message that extends far beyond your pain. It becomes wisdom for everyone who sees it. So when your heart gets broken, understand that the story doesn't end there. It becomes a wake-up call to the one who hurt you, to yourself, and to others who are paying attention. The one who let you go will eventually realize that ego cost them more than they were prepared to pay. You will realize that you are stronger, wiser, and more deserving than you ever believed before. And those around you will realize that love and respect should never be treated lightly. That is the hidden gift within heartbreak. It awakens everyone.